Joining me now is Wendy Gregory, who's a psychologist and writer. Wendy, you know, people don't think of housing as a possible sort of, if you like, gateway to poor mental health. If you're living in a noisy area, for instance, you can't sleep, depression, anxiety, all sorts of things, and in children as well.
Absolutely, it is. I think that having a secure and stable place that we can call home it's a basic human need. It's absolutely fundamental to everything else in life. And as you say, it causes troubles with housing or difficulty getting housing or poor housing. It can cause all kinds of difficult emotions. So there's fear around it, fear of what's going to happen to you, maybe safety concerns, fear of where you're going to end up, are you going to be able to get to work, all those sorts of things. There's often quite a lot of anger and resentment. Why is this happening to me? It's not fair. Why can't I get somewhere decent to live? I've tried very hard. I'm doing the best I can. And the anxiety, I think, is probably the paramount emotion, that worry, that concern, because human beings like certainty. We don't like uncertainty. We like to know what the outcome's going to be. And to not know where you're going to be living, or even if you're going to have somewhere to live, it's just huge.
Ideology. Let's talk to Wendy Gregory, psychologist and writer, because a story this morning in the Telegraph, at least one child under the age of 5 is on a list of thousands waiting for NHS gender care. More than 5,700 under 18s are in line to be seen by new NHS gender clinics for children after they opened in April. Let's find out what it's all about. Wendy, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, there's a waiting list for children's gender care in England. Forgive me for sounding a bit antediluvian here, but is gender care sort of, psychological care? Is it where children come to these clinics and are counselled about what they should be doing or what they might want to do?
It is. It's about being counselled to decide whether really that is the issue. And, I'm sure I'm probably going to say something very controversial at some point in this.
Probably.
I do think that, I'm going back, I counselled in schools. I've been counselling in schools for over 20 years. 20 years ago, I had kids coming to me, of all ages, with all kinds of problems. The whole spectrum of human suffering was going on there. I didn't have a single one of them ever come to me with a transgender issue.
Right.
All kinds of issues about their sexuality and that sort of thing.
Right.
So, I'm wondering, is this more a reflection of the widening problem of mental health generally in young people, rather than just about the gender?
Yeah. And is it a trend? Is it just something that, people talk about now more, so therefore people think, oh, maybe that's me?
I hesitate to say it's a trend, but I do think there is a lot more awareness, of course, with media and social media that changing gender is an option. And I wonder how much confusion there is. We know that adolescents, young people, are confused. They're confused about their identity. They're searching for an identity.
Yeah.
It is possible that if they're just unhappy, maybe a little bit unsure about their sexuality, they might see that and think, oh, maybe that's what's wrong with me.
Right.
Joining us to discuss this, Graham Nichols, Director of Affinity Gospel Churches, who is against a ban, and psychologist and writer Wendy Gregory, who is in favour of a ban. I'm actually going to start with you, Wendy. Why do you think this ban needs to be in place when we already have legislation that prevents child abuse or injuring a child, that sort of thing? And parents out there would think, well, sometimes if I have to resort to a tap, it might be necessary.
Okay, so I think there's been a very grey area, there still is, for a long time around the hitting of children. And currently, as we've just said, the law is that you can't physically injure a child. But, where is that? Where is that line drawn? And we all lose our tempers, of course we do, occasionally. What if you really lost it and you didn't really quite know where to stop? I think by having that ban, it's just very, very clear you cannot hit children. Plus, I don't see any reason why anybody needs to hit a child. They're smaller than you. You have all the power. You're the grown-up. You're the big person. Why on earth do you need to hit a child? And I'm the first person to agree that children need to be disciplined. They need to be taught boundaries. They need to learn rules and respect. But there are many, many other ways to do that don't involve hurting them. So, for example, when you drink alcohol, your pupils dilate. well, as humans, we, without realising it, we pick up when someone else's pupils dilate, and that can be a sign of desire, of sexual arousal. So also people, when they've had a few, they tend to be more relaxed, they smile a lot more, they laugh a lot more. Most of us are attracted to people who are smiley faces or, are laughing and seem like fun people. But something that I think hasn't been mentioned, which I picked up on straight away when I read this story, is that when we've had a few, we tend to be more touchy-feely. Most people are. I don't mean in an inappropriate way, but people tend to want to give you a hug, maybe work colleagues that you wouldn't really hug in the office. And when you touch somebody physically like that, it stimulates the production of oxytocin. And oxytocin makes you bond with people. So you feel more comfortable with that person straight away. And often, it can be a big mistake, because with the disinhibition, you stop reading the red flags. They become a bit blurred, the warning signs. So we can put ourselves sometimes in very unsafe situations. You don't know if that person's going to kill you and turn you into a lampshade when you get back to theirs,
Yes.
especially if you've never met them before. So, there's all kinds of reasons why it might seem that people become more sexually active.